Baz, going into your 10th season at the club, picking your all-time 11, how tough was this?
It was harder than I thought it was going to be. Obviously, when you told me, I started to think about it more. I've played with some wonderful players. There's a few positions that I have to upset a few people, but being a manager of a team, I'm going to have to upset them, but they'll be on my bench. But I've picked it solely on the best players that I think I've played with, and a few mates are in there as well. But most of the boys that have been here and that I've played with in my 9 years so far, I've never really, I couldn't turn around and say that I've disliked any of them. I've been quite lucky in that way. So I've picked my team based on the ones that I thought were the best players.
Was it surprising to you when looking back how many players you've actually played with in your time here as well?
Yeah, there's loads. There's probably some that I probably forgot about as well for some positions. But my team kind of, not picks itself, but I think a lot of fans will probably agree with the people that I've picked. But like I said, there'll be one or two that I'll miss out that a lot of people probably think that he should be in. But that's what managers' decisions have nowadays, I suppose. But no, it was hard. I've played with a lot of good players. I've tried to do a formation that suits probably the best players that I played with in the team. I'm going to go 4-2-3-1 because I think over the time that I've been here, I've played with a lot of good attackers, and it would have been unfair to leave some of them out. So I've tried to go quite attacking. So first one will be Westy. I was with him as soon as I come here. Westy was here, and I think probably a lot of Sheffield Wednesday fans will agree that the first season that I come here was an amazing season. We got beat, unfortunately, in the end in the playoff final, but we had an amazing season that season. I don't think we were expected to do much. Carlos made a few great signings that summer, and we kicked on, and we fell at the last hurdle, but he was obviously a massive part of that group of boys. He was really loud and vocal in the changing room. He's the leader, and on the pitch, amazing, especially that season. I think the final stands out. I think he made 3 or 4 unbelievable saves that kept us in the game then. But just throughout his Sheffield Wednesday career, he was pulling off saves that I've never really seen much goalies do. So I played with a lot of good goalies, to be fair. The one now last season that finished the season, James Beadle, was very good. But obviously we played with Westy for so many years. I think it's only fair that I put him in there. Here we go. The problem position. I'd love to put both of them, but since Jack's left us a few times and left me on my own, and Jack's one of my probably best mates that I would have in football. But obviously Pam's been Mr. Sheffield Wednesday. I've been with him the whole time that I've been here, and I've obviously spoke about him as a person and as a family man that I looked up to when I first come here. He had a lovely family, and it kind of inspired me to kind of try and be like that as a family person as well. So I've picked Pam's as well because not only a great person and also a great footballer, can play many positions. I was actually going to put him in midfield next to me and play Hunty at right back, but I had someone else in the middle that we'll get to later on, which is why I've had to put Pam's there. Jack won't be happy. He'll definitely see this and he'll be on the phone to me straight away, but because he's left and I've been with him for so long, I have to put Pam's in. This was quite tough as well, to be honest. I'm going to go Tom Lees. Again, another one of them players that when I first came in, he was a leader, a bit like Westy. Didn't surprise me, but I I didn't know much about him before I came here, and he become one of my good mates as well. But he was a great defender. We had a really good relationship off the pitch, and on the pitch for set plays and things like that, we kind of had a little bit of connection. He was a heart on your sleeve centre half and the ultimate professional, and like Parms as well, away from the pitch you'll find quite hard to find a better person. So I had a lot of good years with Leesy, and he ended up being my captain for a few years as well, so it's only fair that I put Tom in as well. This could be a little bit of a surprise. He was probably a fan's favourite at the time as well. I'm going to go Julian Borner. He didn't look like a footballer, but so technically gifted on the ball. And I don't know if it was because when you looked at him you just didn't expect it, or he actually really was technically good, but he was brilliant. I enjoyed playing with Jules because he was old-fashioned centre-half, but on the ball he was amazing. He never really wanted to clear it, and just little things that stood out for me about Jules was like when he used to go up for a header, yet a lot of centre-halves will just head it clear, but he would nod it down to you and turn it into a pass, and you would start an attack, and just little things like that go far in football. And he was the perfect centre-half for me. I remember we played Man City at Hillsborough one night in the Cup, and he was brilliant that night. I think Pep spoke about him after the game as well and was really impressed with him. But he surprised me, obviously because his appearance and his boots that he wears and stuff. You just don't imagine him to be a footballer, and then when you actually give him the ball and he starts training and that, he'll come out dead lazy and like look as if he's just woke up 10 minutes ago, and then he gets the ball and he turns into like Rio Ferdinand. So he was really good. There was a lot of centre-halves that probably I've missed out. Glenn Louvens was my captain, an amazing guy. I wasn't with him for too long, not really with Jules as long as well. And I think Michael Hector and Dish obviously as well. I've only been with Dish for a season, but I'm sure if I had to do this another couple of seasons away, Dish would probably be in there. But I'll go for Jules and Leesy. I think they played with each other as well for a bit in their time, so they were a good partnership when we needed them. Left back, I'm going to go for Dan Purell. This was hard as well because I probably ain't got as good a relationship with Dan as I have with probably Marvin. I think I've struck up a really good relationship with Marvin over recent years, but he was part of that team that got beat in the playoff final, and I played wide left for a lot of that season, so he was my defensive partner and he complemented me pretty well. I used to go inside because I didn't really like playing wide, and he would be the width, so he helped me a lot because it wasn't a natural position for me, and he helped me a lot by coming round and letting me play more inside. I would have probably went for Marvin, but my relationship with Marvin's basically from me playing centrally now. So Purell's got the nod because he actually played behind me when I was playing wide left. And this is why Hunty's not making the team, because of this man here. Kieran Lee. Can I say about Kieran Lee? Similar to Jules actually. The most laid back, most down to earth person you could ever come across in your life. And probably the one that's most surprised me in my whole time at Sheffield Wednesday. Obviously knew who he was, had a career at Man United, started at Man United, but then when I signed for Wednesday, obviously knew who he was. Because I followed Man U, and I remember him playing in the cup game at Stamford Bridge for Man U. But I didn't know what to expect from him on a football pitch. An amazing player. Probably one of the best ones that I've played with. He was everywhere. He would be attacking 1 minute, clearing the ball from his own box the next minute, and just a really underrated player. Went about his game quietly. not really. He was a fan's favourite, but he was better than what a lot of people thought he was, and a really good player. He played in that team as well and was one of the biggest players for us in that team, which was a really good team. So Jack, that's why you don't make it, because Pams is right back and Kieran Lee's in the middle. It's a bit like the player final team here, isn't it? It's turning into. We'll change that a bit when we get up here. Hutch, amazing player, strong character. Every changing room needs a Sam Hutchison. Every team needs a Sam Hutchison. He played in centre mid and centre back in my time here, but I remember him fondly when he played in midfield, because he would be inside me, and if I ever lost the ball, he was there to win it back for me. So, but a very underrated footballer as well. Very good passer of the ball, and off the ball, amazing. Apart from the odd yellow card that he got nearly every single game, but a great character, really funny guy, and great for the changing room. Had a good few years with Hutch. He left and come back a bit like Jack, but he was a really good player, and I think it's a good mix, because if Kieran Lee ends up running all the way into the box like he normally done, Hutch would stay and give us give him the licence to go forward. So yeah, another very good player and probably underrated player. This is where it gets tricky. My number 10 is going to be Gary Hooper. It's a bit like a 4-4-2, but I would play him off the striker, because he was really good at coming in and linking up play. I know he scored a lot of goals and was a bit of a poacher, but he had so much more to his game. His overall game was amazing. I knew who we had signed, obviously, because I'm a Celtic fan. He'd been at Celtic and done really well at Celtic, so I knew he was a good player. I thought he was just an out-and-out goal scorer until he obviously signed for us, and he had so much more to his game. He was amazing for us. I just wish we probably kept him a bit longer. But Hoops was quiet, was my car school, so I used to drive in with him. But an unbelievable footballer, so he'll play in the 10, but no doubt he'll probably score more goals than the striker as well. They can change wings at certain points. Nando, probably the most talented player that I've played with in my time at the club. That first season that I come, I've never seen him have a season like it. Unbelievable player. Some of the things that he done in training were unbelievable. Just had that game-winning ability. Could go and change a game from 0-0, do something out of the ordinary, whether it was creating a goal or scoring a goal. Just one of them players that was a joy to play with. I had a really good connection with him. I really enjoyed playing with him. He knew my game, I knew his game. But even off the ball, he was unbelievable. He used to win the ball back so many times for us until he spat his dummy out and decided he didn't want to play for us anymore. But the first couple of seasons, honestly, he was so good. One of the best players I've probably played with in the first couple of seasons. Was unbelievable. I got on with him really well as well at times. But yeah, he was special player. I probably had to put this boy in as well before he cried. Josh, he's another one of my close mates, and a player that I've got a great connection with on the pitch as well as off it. I know what kind of runs he makes, and he knows when I get the ball. We've just got a connection on the pitch that it's hard to explain. We don't really work at it. It's just we see each other, and I know what he's going to do. He knows what I'm going to do. But I had to put him in for the moments that he's created for this club. As much as he'll say it's all down to him, it's a team game, but he's produced some big moments in my time here. I've been the captain of the club since he's been here, and some of the moments that will live with me for the rest of my life are down to him producing them moments. I know it's whatever it is, 19 in the squad, but he's been match winner in big games for us, so I need to put him in for that reason. And a terrific footballer, really understands the game, and he's not only a terrific footballer, what he puts into football, he don't drink, he's the ultimate professional, so he's a joy to work with every day, to be honest. And my number 9, Fletch. He was, obviously I'd played with him for Scotland before he came here to Sheffield Wednesday. I knew what he was all about, and I knew as soon as we signed him that we were lucky to have him. Obviously he was a terrific striker at the time, probably a Premier League striker, and you've seen at his time here that he turned into a fan's favourite. Another one that you'd probably think get the ball in the air, crosses, but he was terrific with his feet as well. Unbelievable linking up play, and had this skill that you could probably be getting pressed and clear it long, and he would turn it into a good ball by jumping and somehow taking it down and bringing the team up the pitch. And another one, like I said, with Pam's a role model for me off the pitch as well in my early years growing up. I used to, I was basically like his third or fourth kid. Well, started his third kid, and then he had another third kid, so I was like his fourth kid in the end. They used to feed me the night before games when I stayed up. His family it's like a second family to me. They were amazing for me in my early years at Sheffield Wednesday. But he was an unbelievable striker. They two worked together really well, Fletch and Hoops. It was a good combination. So I'm sure they'll be delighted that they're playing together again. But yeah, it was hard because I played with a lot of good strikers that I've left out. Lucas Jow, Big Atty, people like that who were very good as well. But I think they two speak for themselves really with the careers that they've had and the careers that they had at Sheffield Wednesday. They were big fans' favourites. The bench, here he is, he'll be happy that he's not fully been left out. Jack Hunt, I had a lot of good years with him, started with him at Crystal Palace. He was part of the final team as well at Wembley, lost to Hull. Had a lot of good years with Jack, and a terrific fullback, energetic, great crosser of the ball, and really enjoyed playing with him. Loved to attack and could also get back fit as they come. So I don't think he'll be happy with it, but we'll speak about it later on. 2 will be my first captain when I got here. I still keep in contact with him now. Glenn Loovens was a really good footballer, another one that I knew about from Celtic at the time. And just so calm, he had like a foreign style about him, the way he played. It took me a while to get used to it really, because I thought, what is he doing here? He used to do this thing where he would stand on the ball, wait for the attacker to come really close, and then at the last minute pass it. And I remember when I first come, I was like, what's this guy doing here? But I spoke to him about it, and he was like, it's so that when he comes and I pass it, he's completely out the game. And when I started to think about it, I was like, it's a really clever way. And now you see it nowadays where centre-back's actually standing on the ball now, waiting on attackers coming to release it last minute. He was doing that years ago. He probably slowed down a bit by the time he come to us, but what he lacked in speed, he had in abundance in his brain, so it was never a problem for him. A very technically gifted centre-half and intelligent man as well. Could read the game and as strong as they come as well. Used to love a header and a tackle. Was really dirty as well, to be honest. So I couldn't imagine a lot of strikers liking playing against Glenn. Number 3 sub would be Marvin. He's been recent, well, the last couple of years in League One and stuff, and from playing in the midfield, I've struck up a really good partnership with Marvin. A bit similar to Josh, where you have little connections on the pitch. I've got a good one with Marvin. It's just the runs he makes. I know what kind of runs he likes now, and I know he likes to get forward and try and assist, and he's done that really, really well for the club over the last few years. So yeah, I would have to put Marvin in. He's probably quite unlucky to miss out in the left back area, but he would definitely make my bench. Number 4 would be, this will be a strange one as well, but I nearly put him in my actual starting team. Alex Lopez. He was part of the team for the first year I was here, and I think the biggest compliment I could pay him is, I think if we played him in the final that day, the result could have been different. I know he played the semi-final. He was a fantastic footballer. I enjoyed, obviously you can see with my team that it's people who like to play football, and he was brilliant. I remember one game, I think it might have been Forest away that year, when we won comfortably, and I remember I played with him and Nando was up front but playing as a 10, and I think we had a passage of play, me, him and Fernando, we had the ball for about 30 passes between us, and it wasn't like we were being arrogant or anything, we just kept, happened to be that we were moving and he was a fantastic footballer. I really enjoyed my time. He didn't play as much games as he wanted that year because we had a strong team, but I reckon if we weren't on as good a run, he would have eventually got in and stayed in. He was a top footballer. Big Dave. He'll be fuming that I've called him this. I've actually been on the phone to him this week. He's 3 hours away from here, I think, driving. He's thinking to come over on Thursday, I think, hopefully, if he can, or tomorrow maybe. Another one that I connected with straight away, an amazing guy, one of my good mates, and will be for the rest of my life. I still keep in contact with him. I know he's doing a bit of management now, so who knows, maybe in a few years we could strike up a partnership or so, but I used to love playing with him as well. So underrated, got a lot of stick from certain fans at Sheffield Wednesday, and then you had the rest that loved him as well. But a handful, used to give teams nightmares when he came on at times. He was unlucky that he was behind the strikers that he was, Fletch, Hoops, Rhodes, and all that were there, Lucas Chow, but he still played a big part. Trained his heart out every day, never let himself get down. Great for the changing room, and a great player to bring on. He was a nuisance for centre-halves. And another one that wasn't just all about the ball coming in there, he was quite good on the floor as well, the big man. Yeah, he's one of the best guys I've met in football as well, Ati, so I've got to put Ati Nahil in. This is another one that should have been in my team. Ross Wallace, unbelievable footballer. Another one, Celtic connection. He was a big game player for us that first season especially. Scored some amazing goals, but he was just so technically good. Didn't have great pace, but the way he moved the ball and his delivery and his technique was amazing, and probably one of the funniest guys in football as well. He's coaching at Burnley now. I still keep in contact with him and his wife and that now and again. I still keep in contact with his family. But he probably should have been in my team, to be honest. But what a player he was. So he's on the bench, but he would end up forcing his way in somehow. 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 will be Lucas Stout. As you can see, quite attacking. What a terrific player. So technically gifted, probably he would probably admit this himself, if he probably put his all into it a bit more, could have had a way better career than he's had, because he had everything. I know he was capped for Portugal in his first year when I was here. Scored against Arsenal in the Cup. I think he was playing against Mertesacker and he was unbelievable that night. So that shows you the level of when he was at it, what he could do to teams. And another one that I still keep in contact with. Great kid away from the pitch as well, never caused any problems. But he just had this like lackadaisical, like laid back approach, whereas the other ones at the time, Fletch, Hoops, Ati, all gave their all every single day. Sometimes he would come in tired and couldn't be bothered, but some of the things he could do with a ball and is amazing, and he was a really talented boy as well. 8. I'm going to put Dish in, just so I'm not ultra attacking. I've only had a season with this guy, but last season was brilliant. I think he had a slow start, as did a lot of the team last season, but the way he finished the season, you could see that he's got a bright future in the game. Really nice kid as well, wants to learn, tries his best to be better day in, day out, so I've got to put Dish in. I think he'll go on to have a top career if he keeps learning and doing the right things, which he is. If he keeps that up, I reckon he'll go on and have a big career. Yeah, I've got to. Will Vaulks, what a guy, one of the funniest guys in football by a country mile. Great entertainment on the Christmas parties. But like I said with Josh was in the team for big moments, and that was basically my partner for 2 of the best years that I've had at this club probably. So I couldn't get him in my starting 11, but he complimented me pretty well for games. I like to do the more attractive side of the game, trying to create chances, trying to score goals, try to assist people. But you need somebody like that next to you who does all the dirty stuff. Hutch was in the team for that reason, so if Hutch got injured, I'm sure Will could step in. But like I said, he was my partner for the last couple of seasons, and hopefully I have a bigger moment this year than the last 2 years that I can celebrate. But for the last 2 years, I can safely say they were my best moments at this club, and he was obviously a big part of that by playing alongside me, so I couldn't leave him out the 20-man squad.
And some phone calls off the players you missed out as well.
I'll turn my phone off tonight. I'll probably turn it back on when I'm back in England. So we've got a big game on Friday that we need to win, so I don't want to be getting kept up with phone calls and messages, but I kind of know who's going to be the first couple that are going to text me. Jack Hunt being 100% going to be the first person. Maybe Big Atty. He might, Ross Wallace might. and I think he'll just be happy to actually be in it, because he'll be surprised, I think. But no, it's, you always, as a manager, it's all about letting people down in decisions, and I'm the one that takes the flak at the end of the day if they don't win. So I stand by I'll stand by that team selection, and whatever comes my way I'll deal with it, or my assistant can.